Hey, good morning. It's Trisha here from Freedom Hill. I wanted to sit down with you and go over my garden planner. Yes, this is the first thing I think about January 1st. Got to plan out my garden, got to get things ready. I will start seeds the end of this month indoors, and I live in zone 7A, so I have a long growing season. Last year I harvested right through the second week of November. So I'm excited to get started. Let me show you what I put together for my garden planner. I tried to use a tripod with this and I just couldn't get the right angle. So I'm going to hold the camera and we'll see how this goes. I created a 1-inch notebook, printed out a little printable I found online, which I will link. This particular website had a bunch of printables and I was able to print out some I'll use and some I won't, but I'll show you as we go through. So let's get it started. When we first open up, I have charts, companion planting. I know not all gardeners are into that. I'm learning about that. So I have 2 charts about companion planting that just teach you which plants to plant together. I have some small post-it notes to mark spaces. And then the introductions, and basically I don't need this. I just wrote down what this is about. This came from the set of printables that actually came with the cover piece. Let me stand up here. It just has ideas of setting your garden goals. I don't really need every one of these pages, and I may or may not use them, but I wrote a few things down, but a lot of these pages are going to remain blank. So I think we'll just skip right into what I'm doing for this coming year. And here we go. I use different colors of small post-it notes. I have this little pad of post-it notes that has different colors on it. And so I would just write down the plant, what it's going to be, and put it in the spot. This is like a grid, and I printed off several of these, and as you can see I marked this for spring 2017. So my plan this year is to grow most things vertically, so all this edge is going to represent cattle fencing, that I will be planting these up against cattle fencing so they will climb. And so I've got tomatoes, flowers of zinnias, marigolds. I've got cucumbers here. Zucchini will also climb. I've got lettuce in between the zucchini and some carrots. Last year I grew carrots. I was very happy with the results. I only grew a few, but this year I will do more. I always grow peppers, and so I have 2 pepper plants. One will be banana peppers, which I love, and the other will be green peppers. Peas. I've got garlic. Actually planted the garlic. It is growing now in our garden, and it will grow, stay underground all winter, and hopefully I will harvest in the spring. And then green beans on this side, on this edge. I have this extra little trough. It actually was an old concrete sink, and we tried to sell it. It didn't sell, so I turned it into a planter. So in that planter I will plant broccoli and different flowers, and the flowers are so important for the pollination in the garden. So the more flowers you can plant, the better. I love the zinnias. They really attract a lot of bees and other insects that pollinate. So I'm very excited about that. As you can see, I kind of drew things out, and before I did the post-it notes, I was kind of drawing it out and seeing what I was going to do, and that was kind of fun to go through that and do that. This is a blank grid, the garden planner. So if you want to use these printables, it's from homefortheharvest.com, and I will link that below in my description. The next section is the seed starting tracker, and I have this from last year completed, And when I start seeds the end of this month, I will start a new page for 2018. And so I think I've printed off several of these. These printables came from Erin Hofstadler from Frugal Living at about.com. So I will link that as well, because I do like this seed starting tracker, because if I want to, say for example, I plant zucchini, I got the seeds from Martha Stewart, I planted them on August 1st, but they died. And so I never did harvest them, but you get the idea. You have a germination date. These germinated August 3rd, which is my birthday. And I write down how I planted them, but I don't know what happened to that zucchini. It never did. That was my second planting. The first planting was eaten by worms. So this year I've got to do something to prevent worms from eating my zucchini. They really like it. My next page is the seasonal planting planner. So this has a few things I put in from last year. And it talks about when things get planted: winter, spring, summer, fall. And like I said, here in zone 7A, I have a lot of growing time. And it's a long growing season, and I'm excited about that. So I will use this seasonal planting planner and plan out when I'm going to plant what. Some things will get planted earlier, like peas and lettuce, and then some things will get planted when there's no threat of frost. So there's a couple of pages of that. The next page I will use is the harvest tracker. I'll be able to write what date I harvested and how much the harvest was. I don't know if you can see those labels across the top. They say date harvested, the quantity or the weight, and any notes I have. This is the seed harvesting tracker, and this year I did harvest some seeds. I did not track that on this page, so I will be using that to track when I harvest my seeds. I harvested many zinnia seeds and marigold seeds, basil, oregano. I think I harvested some cantaloupe seeds that from a cantaloupe I actually got at the grocery store, and I tested one of those seeds and it did germinate. So I didn't put the cantaloupe yet, I don't think, on my planner, but clearly I forgot. So I need to add that. I have to make room. Cantaloupe takes up a lot of space. But I do plan to harvest seeds in the fall, so that I will use this tracker to do that. I like this page. It's called a weekly garden journal, and each day has a, like a slot to put notes on. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all through the week. So I can write down, as I start getting the garden going, I can write down what is going on, when we started planting, when we started all the things we do. So I'm excited to use this weekly garden journal. In the back of my planner, I have so far 2 sheets of seeds. I have put the seeds inside these baseball card collector sheets that have 9 pockets on each sheet. And actually, I could put some on the back too, so each of these could hold like 18 packets. But right now I just have 2 sheets I'm utilizing for that, and it's great to keep the seeds organized. I don't plant a huge garden. It's just for our little family, and I share with a couple neighbors. But this is a great way to keep the extra seeds and have it all together in my garden spot. And then in the very back, there are some pockets where I can keep like stakes to identify my plants and different things in pockets. I have a receipt here from some seeds. So I just try to keep everything having to do with my garden all together. So thanks so much for coming along on this garden tour, and come along to Freedom Hill to see how my garden grows. Don't forget to subscribe.